So I want to talk about the latest book, Conductor is Prism. One of the questions I get is, and Alec Harris gets it at GIA, why does he write so much and how can he write so much? Those are the two major questions. Well, I think because I'm a student of Ed Gordon's, he taught me how to think, and that's a great gift. But I'm also frustrated when I was younger. I don't think I'm particularly stupid, but just give me some things to make me think. And I think in the choral conducting profession, the art of conducting, to teach the art of anything is difficult, to teach the artistry. And so just describing gesture or telling you what you should do with your hands, I think is woefully insufficient. So if you go back, the Musician's Soul book, which was the first kind of major seminal book about musicians published dealing with the insight. I think great musicians have always dealt with their insights, but we never talked about it publicly. Then there was the Musician's Spirit, there was the Musician's Walk. There was a series of books after that that deal with different components of one's interior, including the musician's breath. These were all kind of exploratory things. Then comes the Choral Institute at Oxford, bang, where my choir is in residence, where we have conductors come each year, and I would encourage all of you watching this to consider coming, because I dreamed what would have been of huge help to me as a young conductor. I think one, I don't care whether you have the lowest level church choir or mid-range high school choir or even a college choir, I think you do ask questions about how do I become an artist? You know, we're all watching The Voice and they all talk about the recording artist. And I initially thought that was a kind of cheap way about talking about this, but it really, artistry is something that I think we all want to be. So going back, the first thing that changed me was a book called Discovering Chant, which grows out of, I don't know why all musicians don't understand chant. So I think I've made it very accessible, understandable, and viable as a pedagogical tool. Second book was Sound as Teacher. This is where I started to go off on a tangent that I think is important. So how long can you talk about gesture? How long can you talk about the technique? How do you get at the art? How do you teach people to listen? Sound as Teacher lays some visual images that I use when I listen. You just don't listen to pitch and rhythm. You have to hear resonance. You have to hear human content. But I think you have to reset your brain to listen that way. That book was written because at Oxford, the conductors come and they have a world-class choir, Grammy-nominated choir, sitting in front of them that know the music. So that I'm taking away, as somebody, one conductor said, you took away my ninny and my blanket, meaning the teaching. We hide behind energy and teaching and we're good. I know they're all good teachers, but we don't need another program in teaching. We do. We need a book on teaching, so I wrote that. But I think the essence is when you find how to be you in front of other people, how to listen. The new book is called Conductor is Prism. And let me tell you why I'm so excited about this particular book. Thomas Lavoie, one of the composers in the Evoking Sound series, wrote in one of his forewords, he said, I always view James Jordan as a prism. I've always viewed my way of, I send energy out, the choir responds their sound. But if you think about honest to God human interaction with people, it is prismatic, it is refractive, it is reflective. At Oxford, we are in the building where C.S. Lewis worshipped. So I started reading C.S. Lewis 2 years ago. And the statement that grabbed me, he said, the most difficult concepts in life can only be taught through metaphor. And I don't think teachers use, I know art, I think the great teachers do, but as a pedagogy, we have never published it. So what I'm using is the idea of a prism as a metaphor. And the idea of, I've stolen from Dame Janet Baker, the idea of a glass, that as performers, we have to keep our glass clean. All of these get at the same things that the musician's soul got at but in another way. I think it's important for people to think about their relationship with their choir and how the energy exchanges. So The Conductor's Prism is a book that sets the metaphor in motion, just like C.S. Lewis would have wanted it. And it is basically the pedagogy that I have used for the past 5 years at Oxford. I'm not working the music. These people come and they know the music. So what are you going to do? The only way the music is enhanced is with them. If they are comfortable enough with being themselves in front of others. And part of that is believing that there is refraction. In other words, I think there is now a danger with you thinking that it's only about your energy going off to these people. It is the receptivity, it's the humanity of that openness, which then I think, truth be told, colors sound in the most remarkable ways that no technique and no rehearsal technique can ever do. So I'm very excited about the new book, Conductor is Prism.